I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Hi, my name is Neil Singleton and I'm the Insurance Commissioner with the Motor Accident Insurance Commission here in Queensland. Today I'm proud to announce the winners of Bionics Challenge 2021. Alongside the major category prizes in Bionics Challenge 2021, MACE is providing an overall $40,000 in prizes to early stage Bionics Innovation Award winners. The 4 winning teams that will each receive $10,000 to further advance their innovation include Central Queensland University's Dr. Vanessa Bokazanian and her team of innovators from Australia, India and South America who are advancing e-stimulation therapies for people impacted by neurological trauma and spinal cord injuries. University of Queensland biomedical innovator Dr. Antonio Bowe and his collaborators at UQ and Metro North Hospital and Health Service, who are developing VR/AR enabled sensory rehabilitation to accelerate occupational therapy for individuals with upper limb conditions. 2 Brisbane-based brothers and designers, Andrew and David Peterson, who are developing Gyrite, a haptic wearable that gives people with severe balance dysfunction the sensory feedback they need to stay upright. Queensland Brain Institute research leader Dr. Matilde Balby and her team who are developing an individualised treatment for stroke recovery. This integrative and innovative system is set to employ automated monitoring of brain activity and AI-enabled computations to inform a customised approach to brain stimulation for stroke survivors.
So our next project that I'd like to congratulate as a Early Stage Bionic Innovation Award winner is Dr. Antonio Bowe's project. And this particular project is using VR and AR to deliver sensory experiences as part of rehabilitation for upper limbs. And Dr. Bowe, Antonio, he's working directly with Dr. Matilde Dessel and others at the Metro North Health and Hospital Service. So it's a fantastic team effort across the University of Queensland personnel, as well as personnel that are in Hurston Biofabrication Institute and in rehabilitation more generally over at the new STARS facility at Metro North.
There are millions of people worldwide who need physical rehabilitation after trauma, disease, or other conditions. For some individuals, after recovering from surgery, they must spend months in intense rehabilitation in order to regain function, to be able to conduct activities of daily living using the hands. Occupational therapists and physiotherapists are the ones responsible for implementing these interventions, either in a hospital or at home. They implement the best of our scientific knowledge to create personalized interventions for each patient. However, despite key advances in bionic technology, often the typical clinical setting does not feature technology that may actually support or further enhance rehabilitation.
Welcome to SEOUL, Sensory Experiences in Occupational Therapy for Upper Limbs. Our project brings together virtual reality and sensor academics from the University of Queensland, engineers from the Hurston Biofabrication Institute, and occupational therapists from the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital, where we are today. By combining vision, touch, and sound, we want to improve rehabilitation outcomes for people recovering from stroke, burns, or other injuries.
A key component of rehabilitation is satisfaction and participation in activities that are meaningful to the patient. For any patient who sustains trauma or injuries to their upper limb, this is a really important component of their rehabilitation. Unfortunately, the time taken for technology to come into clinical practice is quite lengthy. So partnerships like this, where we've got engineers and scientists working to get technology in real time, is a really important contribution to our patients' long-term outcomes.
Our project aims at exploiting neural mechanisms of sensory-motor integration to maximize rehabilitation outcomes. For this, it's extremely important that we don't impair sensory feedback when interacting with our system. We use hand and finger tracking as opposed to hand controllers and enhance haptic stimulations for this purpose. Indeed, in pilot trials, we found that the use of hand controllers does not enable the required level of sensory stimulation needed for meaningful rehabilitation. We are currently starting a clinical study across units in Southeast Queensland to further test and evaluate outcomes from our SEOUL system.
Together, our team and our collaborators have developed a system that integrates multi-sensory stimulation to provide benefits for motor rehabilitation. Our system, which currently targets upper limb rehabilitation, integrates VR technology with wearable electronics. The VR component features innovative properties, such as the ability to track the hand and the fingers without any controllers, the ability to personalize audio and visual feedback for every specific patient. We have developed a computer library that's integrated into a clinician software application that will be used by clinicians to personalize clinical interventions that are already used in practice for that specific patient. So what you can see here is VR tasks that have been designed to demonstrate some of these capabilities of this tool. And you can see that this can be translated to meaningful activities that may be useful for rehabilitating in terms of activities of daily living. In our project, our development may be illustrated by this timeline. We are now in stage 1, where we focus on the VR component, including a VR artist. In stage 2, we're going to focus on the wearable sensors, wearable haptic system, and the computer application for clinicians. Our current developments in terms of wearable haptics interface involves vibro actuators that increase the user awareness when reaching for and manipulating virtual objects. This unit is connected to a wireless control module, which hosts also an inertial measurement unit, and also can be connected to other devices. Indeed, our developments in electrical stimulation systems for the same purposes is already also in prototyping phase.
Occupational therapy as a profession aims to encourage participation in a patient's meaningful activities of daily living. Technology is a part of everyone's daily life, and this project is important for consumers to ensure that we have VR technology that can be acquired in the consumer market nowadays. One challenge we face is the creation of therapeutic systems that capitalise on those consumer-grade systems. Our team has expertise with components of commercial medical devices and clinical translation. To facilitate registration of our medical innovation and consequently translation of our technology to patients' homes, our strategy is to follow medical software development standards and design control as early as possible. Occupational therapy across the state is working on a project to ensure we are compliant with the new TGA legislation requirements.
In these stages, we're also focused on other activities. We're going to start clinical translation soon, and we're also developing our commercialization strategy. We believe we have reached a sweet spot in terms of potential benefits for patients and clinician, and also cost effectiveness. And in the future, we want to expand this application for different applications, such as lower limb and balance rehabilitation, and also other settings, such as rehabilitation at home.
Thanks to strong user engagement, our virtual reality and sensor system will be readily translatable in clinical practice, suited to inpatient, outpatient, and community rehabilitation settings across Australia and beyond. This is SEOUL, Sensory Experiences in Occupational Therapy for Upper Limbs.
So I'd like to welcome you, Sue, to be part of our discussion here today, just to celebrate the award, which is, it's just fantastic, the work, as you know, that Dr. Antonio Bo, Alejandro and others are doing at the University of Queensland, and along with yourself, and also Matilda at the Hurston Biofabrication Institute. So maybe if we can get you to talk a little bit more about the next steps with the project and a little bit more about the timing over coming months.
Look, thank you so much, Robin and Bionics Queensland. We're a really eclectic group. So we have Hurston Biofabrication Institute, the University of Queensland, and ourselves that are occupational therapists at the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital. So it's quite inspiring listening to the ecosystem that you've already established, and we're the new kids on the block. So we're really excited. In fact, we're also delighted that we're joining this environment of innovators. So our award, we think, will help us look at software development. So we're really focusing on translation into practice, and occupational therapists do upper limb rehabilitation for a whole lot of different patients when they're in an acute hospital or in a rehabilitation setting. So, yeah, we believe that this significant contribution will just help us to continue to take it to phase 3. And that's where we're going to be able to offer consumers more meaningful activities, and we'll be able to put it into the context for the acute hospital, for orthopaedic patients, for patients who have undergone trauma, and also in STARS, in the rehabilitation sector. So we're really delighted that we've been included in such a prestigious group of people, and we hope one day to be able to follow the other teams and commercialise and make it more available for consumers.
Absolutely. I mean, the VR and AR aspect and that whole sensory experience, it's only just going to expand, isn't it? In occupational therapy, it's going to get much more prominent, obviously, as time goes by. And we love it that you're actually enjoying the process so much and being part of the challenge. And as you say, these things take time, but at some later stage, there'll be those opportunities to, how can we translate this and take it out more widely? And that'll be great to work with you on that. Yes.
Congratulations, and thank you so much for joining us. Antonio will be very grateful, and well done to you and the team.
Thank you.
Thank you.